Alright guys, we're back. Check this one out. It's fresh, new, bullish position on the Aussie versus the New Zealand dollar. I've just pulled the trigger. And I have to say that I probably did that a little bit prematurely because the conditions are not perfectly met. However, I did notice a huge move here, which I believe is a very, very strong indication that we might be looking at the very edge of this downside move. So I think price can potentially turn around at this point and begin the next bullish move. And what I'm focusing mostly at this point is not the bigger picture and not the bigger setup, but the local setup. Well, it's not that local. I mean, it's still a weekly one, but it's definitely smaller than the big one coming from the monthly chart. So I'm talking about the blue system here, which present these three very well established legs. And I'm saying very well established because the third leg, what it did was it took the previous low, which is very important to be honest. But what it also did was it spiked a very important key level. You probably remember this one. I did talk about it before. Now, here's what we had here before. Let me take you to the daily chart. This is quite interesting. We had a huge head and shoulders pattern. You remember this because we were following it. And I specifically mentioned the fact that it was a complex head and shoulders pattern, and with this, with the same implications just as a symmetrical one. So what we had here was a double shoulder on the left, massive head, which was good, and then we had triple shoulder on the right, very complex, but at the end of the day it did break according to the expectations, right? And it went all the way to the previous low exactly as I've predicted. But what I also did when the pattern was starting to break was what I always do with head and shoulders pattern. I always measure the head and try to project the potential move. So I took a 1.618, which is my top favorite projection level by far. And I've measured the head, and guess where it fell, right? Guess where the 1.618 fell? Right here, that purple dotted line, 1.0652. That's the price tag. Now you can see from the daily perspective it was violated. But that's no surprise because the daily chart is very noisy. However, if you take it to the weekly, here you can actually see what's going on. This is where the noise is being filtered out, right? So you can see that huge spike in that same 106.52. Price comes back and closed below. Now it did gap above that level. Take a look. Right now, we're still trading, basically we're trading right on that spot, but we came from below, right? So we closed above, but we've opened below. Obviously, this is a massive key level, but don't let that gap confuse you. The fact that price gapped above that level doesn't say anything about the fact that it won't come back and cross it. Actually, the fact that it closed above that level last Friday is much more significant, suggesting that we might be having here the beginning of the next upside move. So I decided to take up on that. I said it's not perfectly, the conditions have not been met perfectly because we're still trading below that level right now from the daily perspective. But I suspect that in the next day or two, price will cross that level and start basing itself above or from the daily perspective just as well. So we're starting with a fresh bullish position here. We're going to aim at, the next major key level, 108.86. Like I said, we're focusing on the blue system here. And we're going to start with a deep stop loss level at 104.80. Once we cross above that 106.52, I will begin to adjust the stop loss level accordingly. Alright, that's about that for this one. Aussie bullish outlook. I wish you so good luck. See you tomorrow.